So when we look at this choice of should we put in our own employee into a region or to pursue a certain market, or should we use a channel partner, it comes down to cost.
Lee, thank you so much for coming on board. This is amazing. It's always a pleasure to have a conversation with you. We worked in the past, we collaborate for a lot of our customer interaction. Every time I have a conversation with you, it has been insightful. And I thought, and especially on channel, because your focus has been on channel development and, acing the channel process. So today's conversation is about channel and the impact of working through channel. So I thought, who better than you to come on board? And thanks once again. So Lee, my first question would be, I'm straight away jumping into the question, what is the fundamentals to be kept in mind when we look at channel partner engagement?
Sure. Well, first off, Leighton, it's a pleasure to be here. And thank you so much for your time and the opportunity to speak to you and your audience. Why should we use a channel strategy?
Yeah.
As manufacturers or as service suppliers, as business people, it's our natural inclination to say, we need to hire our own sales staff, right? When we hire our own sales staff, we can control where they go. We can control the cost, the expense. We can control the message. When they are employees of our company, we can control those elements, can't we?
True.
But at the same time, there's an expense that comes with that. And as a business grows and a business starts to scale, you want to move into different territories or different geographies, different markets where you might not have that expertise, you might not have that knowledge. And so when you send your direct salespeople into those markets, it gets a little costly. Because when you think about being effective at sales, you have to understand the market. You have to understand the business culture. You have to understand how your products help your customers solve their problems, take advantage of opportunities. You may have an infrastructure investment that has to be made. If you're going to move into a new geography, a new country, you may need an office. You may need to speak the language. You may need to be part of an industry organization. All this cost starts to add up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And so when we look at this choice of should we put in our own employee into a region or to pursue a certain market, or should we use a channel partner, it comes down to cost. When you think about the level of support, the level of expertise you want to provide to your customer, you think about the cost to do that with a direct seller versus the cost to do it through a channel partner, which one's going to give you the highest ROI? Where are you going to get the highest return on the cost of sale? Many places, you do need to sell direct because that's what your customers expect. There's just no choice, right? Where you sit, you're in the heart of the oil and gas industry, and many of these oil producers, they're buying big pieces of equipment that are highly engineered. They take many years to sell this product. They don't want to buy from a channel partner. They want to buy from a direct employee.
Right.
Okay, there's no choice there. But in that same industry, there are other products, services, components that are sold to those exact same customers that are not so highly engineered, that are more transactional, higher volume, lower value.
Yeah.
Customers are willing and interested in buying from a one-stop shop where they can get a pump, a motor, a gasket, other accessories from one location.
Yeah.
So there's two pieces of the equation. Which direction is more cost effective for you? Direct selling or channel selling? That's question number one. Question number two is, how do your customers want to buy?
Okay.
Satisfy your customers.
Okay. So is this very industry specifically? I think it's a very important point you mentioned that what does your customer want to, what's the kind of experience they're looking for, right? Is it direct or is it through a channel partner? So it also depends on the industry we're talking about, right? For example, if it's a software-based organization, so going direct may be what is the customer's choice because of the sensitivity of the technology, or the comfort of making sure, the comfort that they're able to reach out to the vendor and have that conversation. Maybe the channel may not, but when it comes to manufacturing, because there's so many moving parts, probably the clients would be interested to go through a channel model. So is it very industry specific that organizations would look at wanting to move in that direction? Or because right now I'm seeing a trend when I work with my clients that most of them believe to go towards the channel model, irrespective of whichever industry they are. One is, of course, cost as a factor, but there's a lot of risk also involved, when you look at that, your own employee versus, how do you get them to focus? And I know I'm bringing many other elements, but I'm just thinking about, how do they decide? Like, is it very industry specific, what you've seen, because you've been so long in that, in that process of channel building? So what's the trend you see?